Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I actually do not have a reading in store for you guys, but I have a very unique and different video happening here today. Basically, I just have some things on my mind in regards to the subject specifically of healing that I just wanted to sit down and share with you guys about. Just kind of have a heart to heart, me to you, on the subject of healing. Because, I could sit here and pull cards all day and, we can answer questions and that kind of stuff all day long. But sometimes it's just good to have a good conversation. So this video is meant to be a conversation. So as you're tuning in and you're listening to it, and we're discussing the topic of healing, please do not hesitate to drop a comment down below on your thoughts on this subject. It doesn't matter to me whether you agree or you disagree, just as long as we're all respectful to one another and respectful to one another's opinions. That's what matters the most. But I definitely welcome an open discussion here to the subject of healing, because ultimately, this channel is here to help you with your journey, to help you with your spiritual journey is what it comes down to. And that's not all about just sitting here and pulling cards and doing readings for you guys. It's about really navigating the ins and outs of life, the ups and the downs, the hardships and the joys and everything in between. So sometimes I just think it's important to sit here and talk about these things. And honestly, this is something that's been weighing on my heart for a really, really long time. And it's something that I've kind of suppressed not talking about. And some things have really kind of pushed me lately, where it's just like, no, you need to address this. You need to speak your truth. You need to talk about this. And I know if I don't, it's just going to get worse. And it's just going to compound and compound and compound. And I don't really want to do that anymore. So I think it's just best for me to speak my piece and share it. And if I lose subscribers because of it, I don't really care. I'm not here to, make people hear what they only want to hear, basically. I'm here to share my truth. And hopefully it's not like that though. And I hope it does help people more so than anything else. And even if it helps only one person, then that's why this video had to be made, to just help that one person. But I'm hoping it'll be more than just that one, obviously. Before I launch into the topic though, I definitely invite you guys to, like I said, comment down below and give this video a big thumbs up, because that definitely helps me out. And if you're not already subscribed and you resonate with what I do, then please, I invite you to subscribe. Join the Shadow and Shine family. I would love to have you be a part of it. So subscribe and hit the notification bell, so that way then you always know when new videos are coming out, and you'll also be the first to know whenever I'm going live when I do readings. So that's a good thing to know about as well. So information about live readings as well as private readings, because I am open for those too. Information about the lives and the private readings are all, once again, down there in that good old-fashioned description box. So hit that up and you can check that out and contact me about a private reading and all that good stuff. So with all that said, all that introductory stuff, hopefully you guys are still hanging in there with me, because like I said, it's not going to be a reading. It's just going to be kind of a talk, I guess you could say. This is my TED Talk. So healing. Healing is the subject I want to talk to you guys about today. So especially, obviously within the spiritual community, healing is a huge subject, and especially specifically in the twin flame community. Now, I just want to preface here, number one, first and foremost, that I am not against healing. I am very pro-healing. I think healing is a wonderful, amazing thing that we all need to be doing. It is a lifelong process. It's something that we never stop doing. It's something that we do from the day that we're born till the day that we die. So healing is good. I recommend it, obviously. Like you wouldn't walk around with a broken bone your entire life. You'd want to heal that, right? So I am pro-healing. I think it's awesome. However, I do have some very unique perspectives and unpopular opinions that I think need to be addressed. More so about the approach behind healing, not healing itself, because healing itself is good. But I think there are some toxic things surrounding healing within the community that needs to be addressed. And that's kind of the stuff I want to talk about today. And if I keep looking down, it's just because I'm looking at my notes here. I got my phone with all my notes of what I wanted to cover because I knew there was a lot of stuff I wanted to cover. And I wanted to be prepared and organized, so I have like this little outline here. So I'm going to start off by basically saying you don't have to be perfect to have your dreams come true. That's the first and foremost thing. Because I feel like there's kind of this, I don't want to say stereotype the word? It might be the word, I don't know. Expectation. It's kind of like there's this hidden expectation, I guess you could say, within the twin flame community that the only way your dreams are going to come true, the only way you are going to get into union with your person, that you're going to live happily ever after, is if you are 100% healed, if you are totally okay, if you are, like perfect person. And it's not realistic. It's just not. It is not realistic. It's not going to happen. We're all imperfect people. We're going to be that way until the day we die. But just because we're not perfect doesn't mean that we can't enjoy our life. Doesn't mean that our dreams can't come true. Doesn't mean that you can't have union with that twin flame or whatever it is that your goal and your dream is. Like, I know I'm mentioning the twin flame thing a lot, but I know that's because a lot of people come to this channel for that. It's a very popular thing right now, but this could be in regards to anything that's just really your heart's desire, anything that is a dream of yours that you want to have happen in your life. I believe that anything can happen even while you're still broken. So that's what I'm going to start off with. That's kind of where I'm starting here. I'm just checking with my notes again here. Yeah. I think sometimes the focus on healing constantly can actually be damaging to make you feel like you never arrive. Like I said, with the whole expectation of perfection thing. I know for myself, I have definitely felt the weight and I have felt the pressure of, if you're not constantly thinking about healing, focusing on healing, doing nothing but healing like 24/7, and, if you're not like overcoming those things, if you're not becoming perfect in those things, if you're not just like all into the works of the process, that you're never going to get there. You're never going to be enough. It kind of puts this unhealthy standard of you're never going to be enough. And what is healing about that message? There's nothing healing or good for anyone in the message of you're not good enough, you're not there yet, you got to keep going, you got to keep getting there. Because we're all going to be going through that process through our entire life, but that doesn't mean that we can't have good things happen along the way. Like, that's ridiculous. And that's a huge thing, you guys. Like, my background when it comes to spirituality and that kind of thing comes from my Christian faith. And, one person who I think is awesome, they're not in like the tarot circle or anything like that, but if you guys know who Joyce Meyer is, I think she's amazing. She's a preacher. She tells it like it is. And she always has this message of you're okay and you're on your way, which means, you're okay. You're okay in your brokenness. You're okay in your imperfections. You're on your way, which means you're on your way with your healing journey and working on yourself. But you don't have to obsess over it. You can also enjoy the phase that you're in right now. You can enjoy the imperfect parts of you right now. You don't have to sit there and constantly purge and constantly be upset and constantly cry and everything. Yes, if you have emotions happening, if you feel like you need to cry in that moment, don't suppress it, don't fight it, do it obviously. But you shouldn't be forcing it and being like, I have to cry because I have to heal, but I really don't want to cry, or I don't really feel like I have to heal. Don't Don't force it. Let it happen naturally. If you want to feel good, then it's okay to feel good. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, this doesn't have to be some like martyr thing where you're punishing yourself or anything like that. The process is never supposed to be like that. You know, life was given because it was meant to be enjoyed. It was meant to be enjoyed. Like, God doesn't want to see you like obsessing over your healing and obsessing over like not being good enough and not arriving and, you know, all those other kind of things. He wants you to enjoy your life. He knows that you're screwed up. He knows that you're broken, but that doesn't matter. You know, think of it this way. You know, think about like parents and children. Children are far from perfect. They make mistakes all the time. You know, they break things, they spill things, they make messes, they don't listen, all the other kind of stuff. But a good parent, a healthy parent, will still be good to that child. You know, that healthy, good parent is still going to take care of them, clothe them, you know, make sure they get their education and their school. And, you know, they're going to give them gifts too. You know, they're going to get gifts on their birthday and Christmas and all this other kind of stuff. And the parent does that for that child, not because that child is doing everything right. Most of the time, that child is doing things completely wrong. The parent does that for that child, not because of what that child does, but because of who that child is. And because they love that child. And that's how God is with us. It's not because we're not healing fast enough, or we're not doing the work fast enough, or we're not doing enough of the work or anything like that. He will still give us the desires of our hearts, and He will still give us blessings and abundance and favor and our dreams coming true, not because of what we do, but because of who He is, and because of who we are to Him, and because He loves us. It's that simple. It's not something that you can earn. It really isn't. And if your healing process, if you're doing stuff because you're trying to earn something, that in itself is something that probably needs to be healed, because that's not the right perspective to be in. But yeah, healing can get out of balance. My big issue, and I'm reading off of my phone right now with some of these notes. My big issue in the twin flame community is there seems to be this expectation of perfection, that you will never be good enough, never be healed enough, etc., to enter into union. I do not agree with that, because I think it places an unrealistic standard and creates a whole new thing, in a sense, to heal from, which is true. It makes people feel crappy about themselves. It doesn't make people feel good or confident that they can actually do this thing, basically. It does not help. It's damaging. Instead, you need to be gentle. You need to be kind to yourself. For those of you who are very self-critical, so if you're self-critical, that means you're probably like me, because I can be that way with myself all the time. But yeah, for those of you who are self-critical, constantly being told to heal yourself, it can rob you of your peace and joy. It can make you stop being grateful for how far you have come. And that's a big thing too. You know, yeah, you may have a ways to go, and there may be things that you still have to work on and you still have to figure out and work through, and that's fine. And those moments will come, and those days will come. But it's really hard to have the motivation and the strength to work towards the next obstacle to overcome, in a sense, if someone's always like preaching at you, heal yourself, heal yourself, heal yourself. And honestly, it's like, I think because it's so redundant and it's spoken about like way too much, it's almost like, oh, what is the word I'm thinking of? I need my words. I need my words here. It's almost like it falls on deaf ears after a while. It's like you develop, oh my gosh, like I know the word I'm thinking of. It's like right on the tip of my tongue, but does not want to come out. It's not resistance. It's, I don't know. The word will probably come to me after I'm done making this video, knowing my luck. But yeah, it's like it's repeated over and over and over and over so much. It's like, the more you hear it, the less meaning it has to it. And now it's like when someone just says, heal yourself, heal yourself, heal yourself, it's like it has no meaning for me anymore. It really doesn't, because it's just so redundant. It's so, like beating you over the head constantly, constantly, constantly. And I'm like, isn't there something else I should be doing? Like actually enjoying my life or something? And I think that that's a huge part of it, is you should be, like I said, enjoying your life. But yeah. So I hope this is coming out right. But I know what I'm trying to say with my heart. I just hope it's coming out right as I'm trying to like spit it out and get it out. But yeah, if someone pounding into your head over and over again, heal yourself, heal yourself, heal yourself, is making you lose your peace and it's making you lose your joy, that's not a good thing. Like I said, I'm not against healing. I think it's a great thing. I think it's a wonderful thing. But sometimes if someone is pounding it into you over and over and over and over again, it starts to feel like condemnation. And when someone condemns you, it doesn't feel good. It drags you down. It makes your vibration lower. It makes you just feel crappy and bad about yourself. And when you feel bad about yourself, you don't have motivation. You don't have inspiration to heal, to have the motivation to change things and rise higher and to be better and to be stronger and all that other kind of stuff. So I think sometimes people need less about heal yourself, heal yourself, heal yourself, and people need a little bit more, hey, I love you. I'm here for you. Because sometimes a little I love you, I'm here for you goes a million times further than heal yourself. Because it loses its meaning after a while. And it's like, well, what does that even mean anymore? Like, I've been doing that. What else do you want me to do? Sometimes you just gotta love on people. Loving on people is so much more powerful than heal yourself, heal yourself, heal yourself. So, that's just my opinion, and that's my perspective on that. But, it's a different subject if somebody tells you to heal yourself, like in a reading or something like that, and you feel convicted. There's a huge difference between conviction and condemnation. With condemnation, like I said, it makes you feel bad, it makes you feel lousy. Blech, not good. Something you need to discard, basically. However, if you feel convicted, that's basically like your inner spirit acknowledging the fact that, yes, there is something wrong, there's something that needs to be worked out, there's something that needs to be fixed. But instead of losing strength about it, like with condemnation, instead of that, you feel motivated. It gives you energy. You actually like kind of get like this get up and get go on the inside of you, and you're like, yeah, you know what? I do want to change that. I do want to make that better. Like, yes, thank you for pointing it out to me. I'm so excited to work through that. It brings like this excitement and motivation to change things for the better. So that's the difference. So if somebody is giving you a reading or somebody is telling you to heal yourself and you feel convicted about it, good. Then that's the message to go with. That's the feeling to go with. If you feel condemned about it though, you gotta leave that alone. Because that could be somebody else trying to come against you in a sense. It could be someone trying to put something on you that, they may be dealing with themselves. So you gotta let that kind of thing slide. So there's a huge difference between the two. So that's why I'm saying it's not that I'm against healing. If you're convicted to heal, do it. If you're condemned, it's probably not the right thing that you're supposed to be doing. So yeah, healing should not make you lose your peace. It should be something that like you're ready to do. It should be something that motivates you, that you're ready to rise higher. Sometimes healing, I feel, is placed on a pedestal, and people stop living and enjoying life because of it. It becomes a chore, and then they're obsessed with healing rather than actually enjoying life. Then you're codependent, in a sense, on something new. Not a person, but an ideal, a standard of how you're supposed to be or who you're supposed to be. And that's true too. Like, especially if we're talking in the twin flame journey, I know a lot of times when people are early in the journey, they're very codependent. They're very clingy onto their specific person. which is, you know, a lot of the times where the discussion of you got to heal that, you got to heal that, you got to heal that comes in. And I completely agree. Like, that's 100% something that I agree with. But sometimes when you're in the healing process and when you're a little bit further down the line, then it's like sometimes the codependency can switch. And then instead of you being fixated on that person, then you become fixated on perfection. And then you're like, but I'm still not good enough. I still haven't healed this. I still haven't healed that. Like, I haven't raised high enough with this. I haven't done enough with that. And then you become codependent on basically an image, an image of who you think you're supposed to be as this healed person. And that's not healthy, and that's not right either. That is, you know, holding on to unhealthy ideals, unhealthy expectations. That's not the way it's supposed to be. And I feel like I see this all the time. And I feel like the group of people who are newer to the journey, where they're codependent on their person, is probably a little bit more louder, which is where the heal yourself, heal yourself, heal yourself stuff comes in a lot. But I'm really speaking to the people here who have probably been on the journey a longer amount of time, where you're definitely not codependent on your person anymore. Like, you're okay being on your own. Like, you're okay with that. You still love your person, of course. You still, you know, hope for like the ultimate dream with them, of course. It's not like you've given up or anything, but you're not obsessed with it. You're not trying to control it. But you know, you still have things to work on in general because you're human. You know, that's just a part of the gig. That's just a part of how it is. So instead, you know, like, this group I feel like is more quiet because they kind of still get beat down with what the newbies are hearing with heal yourself, heal yourself, heal yourself. And then the ones who have been on the journey a little bit longer are like, I am doing that. I just want some love. Like, I just want some comfort. You know, that's the group that I'm kind of speaking to, where it's just like, maybe they don't need to hear heal yourself, heal yourself, heal yourself all the time, because I think they already knew that. I think they're already doing that. I think they need a break. I think that group needs a little break where they need to go find a little bit of fun. They need to just get a hug from somebody. They just need to hear that they're loved, is what it comes down to. And all those things in itself can actually be healing. Healing doesn't have to be sitting there bawling your eyes out purging. Healing can be something fun and something good, you know? Like, for example, you know, I could go out for a drive in my car and put in some of my favorite music and just crank it and sing and have like a little dance party in my car. That's not purging, but it's definitely healing. It makes me feel good. It's fun. Traveling is healing for me. You know, I have driven across country 3 times within like 8 months, something like that. Like, a very short period of time. But I love traveling. You know, music is healing. Traveling is healing. Nature is healing. Heck, you know, every time I went to Disneyland was healing for me. So good things, positive things can be healing too. It doesn't have to be some horrible, awful experience every single time. So find some of the good things that make you feel good, because if it's filling up your heart and it's making your heart feel the warm fuzzies and all the good stuff and putting you in that vibration of, hey, you know, life is pretty awesome, then that's healing. That's a good thing. So yeah, let's see what else I got here in my notes. I got so much information. So I think one of the reasons why people, and that would be my phone going off. Sorry about that, you guys. I cannot control that. I cannot control when people decide to text me or not. Anyway, so yeah, getting back to the subject of healing. I think one of the reasons why those people who do kind of put the spotlight on others to, you know, you got to heal yourself, heal yourself, heal yourself. I think one of the reasons why people do that is people get very uncomfortable in their own brokenness. It's like they figure, okay, I'm so broken. If I just fix that, like, I'll be comfortable with myself. And I think a big part of this is people need to get comfortable in their brokenness. Not to the point of never wanting to rise higher, but to the point of knowing it's okay to not have it all figured out. And even if you don't have it all figured out, that doesn't mean that God won't give you the desires of your heart. He blesses us because he wants to, not because we earn it. Kind of like what I was saying earlier with the parent-child analogy. But yeah, I think it's a good thing to get comfortable in your brokenness. Like I said, not to the point where you never want to change and you kind of just get like lazy about it. And, it's like, oh, I'm just going to be lazy and apathetic and I don't care anymore. Like, not like that, no. Like, it needs to be in a healthy balance. Like with anything in life, it needs to be in a healthy balance. I do feel, though, that we need to get comfortable and accepting that, we are just going to simply have flaws. We are going to screw up. We are going to make mistakes. There are going to be things that trigger us from time to time and piss us off and need to be worked through. We're just going to have to own that. Like for me, for example, one area that I really struggle in is patience. I am not a patient person. I get really impatient with big things, with stupid little things. I could be uploading a video to Instagram, and if it's not going fast enough, I'll be like, what's wrong with you, phone? Why are you not going fast enough? It's stupid, and I should not be flipping out over it, but I do. And with bigger things, with like relationships and stuff, I can get very impatient. So I know for me that's one of my big flaws, and I need to work through that. But I own that, like I'm like, okay, I'm okay with the fact that I'm impatient. I'm not okay to the point where I'm never going to change it because I'm working on it. But I know that's just who I am and how I am, and that's it. And it'll evolve into a healthier place as it needs to over time. Simple as that. We all have our things that we got to work on and work through. So you need to get a little bit more comfortable with your flaws and your imperfections and realize that, you don't have to have it all figured out and all healed and all perfect, because it's just not. It is just not, is what it comes down to, not like that. So I wanted to, speaking of healing, this is still about healing, but I wanted to share with you guys a little bit of a story, a little bit of an anecdote when it comes down to healing. Specifically dealing with my best friend, Katie. And Katie has a unique situation, which definitely could involve healing, that I feel like a lot of people could probably learn from and apply to in their own situations. So this is not like a twin flame story, but it's still definitely tied to healing. So Katie was born with cerebral palsy. And she's an awesome person. She is an amazing person. She does like super awesome for herself with her disability. And, she walks with a walker, but she's not like wheelchair bound or anything like that. Like she's very smart. She's very intelligent. She's very highly intuitive. Like she's just an awesome person. She does very well for herself. She works for Wayfair. She's just a super good person. But anyways, she's had cerebral palsy all her life. She's never known life without it, basically. And being in like Christian church type of situations, whenever she would go to church, she would have a target on her back, basically. And people would always go up to her and they would be just like, hey, can I pray for you? 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 Because people wanted to heal her. They felt that she needed to be healed. And I think Katie has a very healthy perspective on healing. And if there's anyone who understands it best, it's her, given her situation. So Katie's perspective on it is, it's not that she doesn't want to be healed. Like, if one day God magically waves his magic wand and he heals her and her cerebral palsy is gone and she's totally normal without any of those limitations, she will be so excited, so grateful, so thankful, indefinitely. However, she is not living her life revolving around that, desperate for her healing, desperate like she can't live her life to its fullest without it. So, her view on it is, if God decides to heal me, he's going to heal me. Doesn't matter if somebody prays for me or not. If God's going to heal me, he's going to heal me. But if he doesn't, that's okay. I'm going to live my best life. I'm going to go out there and take life by the horns and live it to the fullest. And she does. She really does. I mean, she makes good money at her job. She's traveled with me across country. We've gone to like 98 Degrees shows and all this other kind of stuff together. She survived in LA herself, as a single woman with a disability for 5 years. And, it had its challenges and it's hard. It's LA. It's hard for anybody, even without a disability. But she still thrived, and she does amazing, and she has tons of friends and family who love her and support her, and she has a good life, and she lives it to its fullest, and she does not let her disability control her. She does not let it contain her. She does not let it rule her life, basically. She lives her life pretty much as a normal person as the rest of us. So her life does not depend on her healing, is what it comes down to. If she gets it, awesome. She's going to be so excited and so grateful. If she doesn't, still awesome, because she's still going to live an awesome life. And I feel like we need to look at our own lives the same way in regards to our own personal healing. So, if there's certain areas where you're really struggling in, and you still need to work on it, and you still need to heal it, it's not to say that it's not going to be healed. It's not to say that you're not going to be able to work your life through it, because you very well can. But even if it's slow, or even if it never happens, you can still have an awesome life, just like Katie. You can still make your dreams come true. You can still do amazing things. You can still conquer mountains and all this other kind of stuff. You don't have to let anything limit you. You don't have to let any conditions limit you. Not any wounds, not any things that haven't been healed yet. You can live your life so big and so full, it's not even funny. Anyone can do that. So I think that's a major thing. I wish Katie was here to share her story with me, because it's that inspiring, and I think it would be that helpful, obviously, in terms of a comparison, especially on the subject of healing. And one thing that Katie has always told me is everybody has a disability. Hers is very obvious and visible, but everybody has one. It doesn't have to be a physical disability like hers. It doesn't have to be like a mental disability or anything like that. But, I feel like when she says everyone has a disability, it's basically kind of saying everyone has like a wound. Everyone has something that they need to heal, something that does need to be healed inside of them. It's just with some people it's obvious, like hers, and other people it's not. And you would never even know that there was something that was crippling in a sense to them. So we all have our disability. We all have something that cripples us, whether it's emotional or mental or dealing with relationships or family or whatever it is. We all have something. And even though we may have that something, whatever it is, it doesn't mean that we still can't have an amazing life and still have all of our dreams come true. And we don't have to be obsessed with healing it in order to have a good life. So, the healing may still come, and that may very well happen, and that would be awesome. But even if it doesn't, you can still have it all. You don't have to limit yourself, is the point. You really don't. So, one of the reasons that I decided to talk about this tonight, because you guys are probably wondering, like, wow, like, this is quite the tangent, Heather. Where did this come from? So, the reason I decided to address this tonight is, number one, like I said, the whole heal yourself thing, especially in the twin flame community, it's really kind of always bugged me, even earlier on in it for me. I don't really consider myself like a codependent person on my person, because I've always been very aware of that, even before anything really started happening there in that situation. Like, I know you can't like fix anybody, and you shouldn't want to anyways, because that's not real love. You love, if love is truly unconditional. You're going to love them at their best and you're going to love them at their worst is what it comes down to. So, yeah, that's what unconditional love is. So it's not, I always knew that, like, it's not like I ever felt like I needed to fix somebody else. Like, I've already known that going through other relationships and friendships and all the other kind of stuff. You can't fix anybody. It doesn't matter whether it's, romantic or friendship or family member or whatever it is. Because you can be codependent with anybody. It doesn't even have to be just romantic. You can be codependent on a friend. You can be codependent on a family member. Codependency is not limited to only one type of relationship. But yeah, like, that's something that always really bugged me, because I guess there are points and times where, I know I still have, my own issues to work through, my own healing to work through and everything. Yes, I acknowledge that. But sometimes, people would, like, throw that at me, like, oh, you just need to heal yourself. And that didn't actually really help me. It didn't actually really help me through what I was experiencing. I was just like, what does that even mean? Like it didn't hold meaning. It didn't hold substance is what it comes down to, which is why I say I really feel like sometimes people just need love. They don't need to be preached at. They just need love. So that's something that's always really kind of bugged me in the community. And it's bugged me for such a long time. And I was just like, well, maybe I just need to say something about it, because maybe this bothers other people too. And if it does and it resonates for somebody else, awesome. If I'm the only one that feels this way, then oh well, it's just me. But at least I'm voicing my truth either way, whether I'm standing on my own in this or other people come along and say, hey, yeah, I get what you're saying. I feel that too. Another thing, another reason that kind of jarred me to talk about this right now, like the whole, oh, this has always bothered me within the community thing, like that's kind of been a long time running thing. But I think what triggered me to talk about this specifically now, at least, rather than earlier, since this has always kind of been something that has bothered me, that I felt like needed to be spoken about. It was obviously bothering me for a reason. Like, I feel like it was bothering me because God was kind of being like, hey, you gotta say something. You gotta speak up. You need to address this. So that's what I'm doing. But the thing that triggered it, at least timing-wise in this moment, is last week I had a reading done by a different reader, and I had never had a reading from her before. She was recommended to me by a friend. And I should have listened to my own gut, because my own gut, like, really told me, don't do this reading. Like, don't do it. Don't do this reading. But I was trying to be open, is what it comes down to. I was like, no, just be open. It'll be fine. It'll be good. Just be open. So I was trying to do the right thing and being open, which is funny because the reader actually told me be open. And a lot of what she said didn't resonate. And it was actually very hurtful, and it was very painful. And it was the version of feeling condemned over feeling convicted. I'm sure her heart was in the right space, but she was not the reader for me. Needless to say, I won't be going back, because I felt like it did more damage than it did good. It really took me off course with myself. It placed a lot of doubt in myself and my journey and what I'm doing and all those kinds of things. And, if a reader is leaving you filled with doubt, they're probably not the reader for you. If I filled someone with doubt, which I hope I wouldn't, but, like I said, not everyone's going to click. But if I left someone in doubt, then I wouldn't want that person to come back to me, because I'm not for them. But yeah, I was like literally in tears. Like, I was in tears after this reading, like, not in a good way, but like in a I feel so horrible way. Like, she said things that no other reader has ever said before, and it was not feel-good stuff. It was not convicting kind of stuff. But she was very, like, heavy-duty focused on healing. And once again, I'm not opposed to healing. There's nothing wrong with healing. But, you know, I told her how I had just moved across country and how I felt that I had broke a lot of karmic cycles in doing that, and that was closing out one chapter to open up this brand new good chapter. And she was making it sound like it wasn't going to be a good chapter at all. She was just like, no, there's going to be all this hurt and all this pain and blah, 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 blah. And it really bothered me that, like, I told her that, like, I felt good about the growth that I had done up to this point, and it was like crickets. It was like total silence. It was not, like, that wasn't even acknowledged, you know? And a lot of the times, at least for me, maybe this is just the differences in styles of how readers are. If I'm doing a reading for someone and maybe someone explains something like that to me where they overcame something that comes up during the reading, you know, I always give positive feedback on that. And I'm like, well, that's awesome. Yeah. And, you know, and I'll be looking at the cards and I'll be like, oh yeah, I can definitely see that. You know, that's definitely coming through. And that shows that, like, yeah, you did come a long way. You did, you know, do this. You should be thankful. You should be grateful. Like, I was trying to say that coming from a thankful and grateful place, because I think it's important to always look at our lives and our perspectives coming from a thankful and grateful place. And it was like she just whizzed right off of that. Like, anything positive that I basically was talking about with my own life, it was like crickets. It was like nothing. I'm like, do you just want to focus on negative things? Like, what's going on here? So that really kind of triggered in me. It's just like, no, I got to address this healing thing. It's not that I'm against healing. It's not that I don't think we should heal. But this needs to be looked at in a more of a balanced way, because there should not be all this pressure put onto people like, you have to heal. If you don't, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to have a good life. It's bullshit. It really is. It's bullshit to be putting that onto people. Like, that's such an unrealistic expectation. So I'm just like, no, that's not right. So that reading did not go well. And that kind of triggered this whole idea and this whole concept coming in here. But yeah, if you've had a good life, trust that. You know, that's definitely important too. And I know a lot of times, on a separate note, dealing with, you know, the healing thing, I know a lot of times, you know, readers and stuff will bring up like past lives and that kind of stuff. Like, you got to heal this from your past life. You got to heal that from your past life, blah, 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 past life, past life, past life. Now, I am not saying past lives mean nothing, or that, you know, information from them or healing from them means nothing either. Just want to preface that. However, it is in my personal perspective, I think it's more important to focus on what it is you need to heal currently in this life, because this is the life that you're in now. These are the issues that you're dealing with now. And chances are you probably have enough garbage happening in your life now that you need to focus on, rather than worry about something that you don't even really remember, you know? So yeah, like I said, it's not that I don't think past lives are important or they don't matter, they don't have any value, but I feel like, you know, it's kind of look at it this way. Like, let's say you grew up in a dysfunctional home growing up, okay? Like, you grew up in a dysfunctional home, and when you were a child, you could get away with saying, oh, you know, I'm like this and I'm screwed up because of my parents, because they do this and they do that and blah, 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 and this, that, and the other kind of thing. And you may get away with that when you're young and when you're still a kid. But it gets to a point in your life where you grow up and you become an adult and you have to take responsibility for your own life. And you can't keep blaming it on the dysfunctional family that you grew up in. You can't keep blaming it on your past. There gets to a point where you have to take ownership and you have to take responsibility for who you are as an adult in present time. Look at your past lives the same way. Your past lives are like that dysfunctional family that you grew up in. And when you were living those lives, like when you were a child or whatever, when you were living those lives, yes, you had every reason to kind of, you know, put the fault and put the blame on what was happening in those times. But guess what? You're not living those lives now. You're living this lifetime. You're here in this lifetime. So you can't sit there and blame all the garbage and all the crap that happens in your life now all on all this other stuff from the past. You have to start taking ownership for what's happening in this lifetime and deal with this lifetime. That's kind of the way I look at it with the past lives. Just like you wouldn't totally ignore your upbringing, you would learn things from it and you would be just like, okay, yeah, I didn't have like the best upbringing or whatever it is. But you don't let that control your life. You don't let that be the thing that makes the decisions for everything for what you're dealing with now. So I think at least in regards to healing, when it comes down to past lives, it's okay to go there a little bit. It's okay to maybe go there for some understanding and maybe just to like educate yourself a little bit better on things. But once you understand, be just like, okay, I digest that and I understand that. Now, how can I apply this and how can I focus this into what is happening here and now in this present life? That's the more important area to be dealing with things in. So yeah. Anyway, I have some more from my notes to read. Since none of us will ever reach that mark of perfection, I believe one can have union not totally healed with their twin flame. Both the feminine and masculine will still be broken even in union because they are both human. The difference is you take the healing journey from being individuals separately to a healing relationship instead. Married couples do this all the time. People usually realize marriage isn't all rainbows and butterflies, and they actually have to work at it to make the relationship succeed. It's like that with anything worth having. So I get really tired of hearing how perfect you have to be in order to achieve union because it's not realistic. It gives people something of a twisted perspective and something unattainable, which is true. I mean, look at relationships around you. Maybe you have friends that don't necessarily know or are involved in the twin flame thing or anything like that, but they may have a significant other. They could have a husband or a long-term boyfriend or whatever it is. And, I'm sure they go through stuff and they have to work through stuff and they have to heal certain things together. But, no relationship is perfect. No relationship is easy. I think all of us go through seasons where, yes, we do our healing separately, us alone by themselves or us alone by ourselves, them alone by themselves. But it gets to a point where eventually those paths are going to come in together and merge, and then you guys can start the healing journey and the healing process together. There is certain types of healing that you can only do separately, and then there's certain types of healing that can only happen when you come together. So I feel like that's just supposed to be a natural evolution that is eventually supposed to happen. And it happens with everyday couples everywhere. I mean, they say, the first year of marriage or whatever is the hardest. And why is it the hardest? Probably because there's a lot of healing going on between the couple as they are, doing the merging into one. Even in the Bible, it says that, two become one. And the thing that the Bible doesn't mention that is actually a part of the process is it's the becoming part that's the problem. The becoming part is where that healing happens. The becoming part is where you go through the crap, basically. Because it's not easy to take two and make it into one, pretty much. So yeah, that's something that's normal. That's something that happens to everybody. But it can definitely happen because you know what? You're two broken people while you're separate. You're still going to be two broken people when you come together because you're never going to be perfect until the day you die. So you take two imperfect people, you put them together under the same roof, maybe they share the same last name now or something, they pop out a couple kids or whatever, and they're still going to be broken. They're still going to have things to work through. It's a lifelong process. It is a lifelong process is what it comes down to here, but that doesn't mean that you can't have it. That doesn't mean that it can't happen. Healing comes in different forms too, which I already mentioned, you know, with the whole thing of like, you know, doing happy things, doing good things to make you feel better about yourself. So yeah, and I think in saying that, like, bottom line is try not to take life so seriously. Sometimes I feel like people take their healing just way too seriously. Just go with the flow is what it comes down to. You're going to have times where you're going to have to bawl your eyes out and you're going to have to purge and it's going to be really hard. But then there are going to be times where you're like traveling and listening to music, and that's going to be healing too. So, you know, it's life's ups and downs, you know. It comes in waves, you know. So I think it's important to not become like fixated on it and obsessed with it, because if you become obsessed with your healing process, that's actually going to slow down any kind of healing that does need to happen. So that's why I'm saying I am a big advocate for healing. I do believe it's important. I do think it needs to happen, but it needs to be done within balance. It needs to be done, you know, without feeling like you have to be perfect and meet all these expectations, because you can have a very messy, imperfect life and it can still be amazing. You can still make those dreams come true, is all what it comes down to. So, yeah. I feel like I'm almost done here, you guys. I know I've been recording now for like 50 minutes, almost an hour basically. So this has definitely been quite the tangent, but I knew I had a lot to say. I didn't know how long this was going to be of a video. If you're still watching, if you're still hanging in there, kudos to you. Like, you're awesome. You're amazing. But yeah, try not to take life too seriously when it comes to healing, you guys. I feel like for those of you who have taken it too seriously, number one, you guys really need that big hug. So if I can just grab you here right through the phone, I'm giving you that hug. I want to let you know that, you know, I love you and I care about you, and that, you know, sometimes you just need love. It's not about heal yourself, perfect yourself, become better, rise higher. Sometimes people just need love, and sometimes people just need a break. And I want to let you know it's perfectly acceptable to take that break. It's perfectly acceptable to just be loved up on. And, you know, if nobody else around you is loving up on you, I'm sending you that love. I'm sending you so much love and so much hugs. And that's truly where my heart is at when it comes down to this crazy journey that we're on called life, whether it's doing readings for you guys or helping you guys with the twin flame thing or whatever it may be. I just want to make sure that you guys are loved, and I just have such a big heart that I want to see people like thrive and succeed and have their dreams come true and just live their best life is what it comes down to. So I just want to send you love, number one. And yeah, don't take it so seriously. Have some fun, unwind, relax, loosen up, lighten up. You know, we got enough like heaviness and that kind of stuff going on in the world. And you know what? If you are still watching this video, and here's a little challenge for you, just to kind of put the feel-good vibes out there, tell me something good. Tell me something good down there in the comments. Tell me something good, something that you're thankful for, something that you're grateful for, something that gets you excited about life, because that's the kind of stuff that raises our vibration. That's the kind of stuff that can also be healing and feel so good. So leave some feel-good stuff down there. And you never know, whatever it is that you say may wind up helping somebody else out. So yeah, that's a good thing too. Finally, you guys, I want to close this out with a little quote. I gotta find it on my phone because it's in my pictures. Where are you? There it is. So, there's this Instagram account that I follow. It's pretty popular. You guys may follow it too, for that matter. It's called Moonomens, something like that. I think that's how you say it. I always, whenever I read it, I feel like it says moon memes, but it's not memes. It's like Moonomens. Anyways, they share a lot of spiritual stuff on there and that kind of stuff. And they shared this quote the other day, and it was very timely like timely that I saw this, especially when I was like thinking about the healing stuff and this whole perspective and that kind of thing. And I just want to wrap it up with this quote because I think this sums up a lot of what I just mentioned right here in this video. So it says, I can tell you with great certainty that you do not need to be fully healed in order to date or deserve to be in relationship. I know this is true for the obvious reason that we are never fully healed, and for the more subtle reason that since it is relationships that wound us, it must be through relationships that we heal. So, don't feel like you have to be isolated and alone to heal. You can still come into union with your person. You can still make your dreams come true. You can still have the life that you dreamed of, even broken, imperfect, and totally unhealed. Don't stop working on it, obviously. Let it happen naturally, but you can still have an amazing life anyways and feel so much love. And that's my big message here that I really wanted to share with you guys. And I really hope through all my rambling and all my stories here that the message came across right and that you guys really felt my heart with what I was trying to say, because my heart is to just help and, to not just make you guys feel good, but to make you guys feel loved. Like loved and supported and encouraged, and to just help you out is what it comes down to. So that's really where my heart is at with all this, and I hope it made sense. And if you've been watching all the way up to now, I am just grateful that you're still here and thankful for that. Anyways, next video should definitely be a reading, so that's going to be a good thing, and we'll get back to our regular schedule with that. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, number one, if you enjoyed me just talking about this kind of stuff, and if you guys want me to just kind of do like these sit downs in general, like these heart to heart kind of conversations, if you like this, once again, let me know in the comments, because if you do, then I'll sit down and I'll do this more often. If something is really placed strongly on my heart that I want to talk about, or if there's something maybe you have an idea on that you would like to hear me talk about, I'll sit down and I'll do it. But yeah, if you liked this kind of video, let me know. I'm definitely open to doing more like this. If not, maybe this will just be a one-off. That's no big deal. But yeah, so I really appreciate you guys, and thank you for hanging in here with me on this. Like I said, we're going to get back to the regular routine with readings after this one. But thank you for hanging in and your patience and your understanding and listening and all the other kind of stuff. As always, like I said, thumb up this video, comment down below, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and hit the notification bell so that way then you know when future videos are coming out and when I go live, and information for lives and private readings and all that good stuff is all, once again, down below as well. So thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I hope you have an amazing day. Keep sparkling. I am sending you lots of hugs and much love. Mwah!